Hello YouTubers, welcome to Country Boys Tackle Box. This video is going to be about how to rig your soft plastics. Now this way we rig some of this stuff, it might be, if you're not a beginner, then you're going to see already know what this is. But if you're a beginner or intermediate fisherman, you haven't been fishing that long, there's just a lot of ways to rig your soft plastics, a lot of different ways. So we'll just get into it right now by introducing the first rig I want to show you, which is probably the most common rig used for bass fishing in the United States, and that is the Texas rig. Now I strung a little bit of 30-pound test up here, a quarter ounce weight. I think this is a 3/0 or 4/0 worm hook. So you can see that the bullet weight has been run through the line and the line tied to the hook. So this weight slides back and forth. So how I do this is I take my artificial worm. Here's my artificial worm. This, you just take it and you run, since this has got about a quarter or maybe 3/8 right there on the head of the hook where the bend is, I'm gonna probably run the hook about 3/8 of an inch deep. So to just about to where that where the curve starts on the hook, where the curve starts right there. So what I do is I take my hook and run it into about where the curve is, and then I pull it through, run it all the way up to the top, twist it around, pull it through, cover the knot, then it's like that. So to see how it automatically lines your hook up. So what I do is I look down here, see where my hook's entering at. So I take my hook and put it right at that point and push it in. But don't let it come out the back side. So you try to get it as straight as you possibly can. If you have to do it more than once, you can do that. But now there's the worm rig with the hook. And when you start fishing, it'll look like that. All you more advanced fishermen, you know what all that is. But this pretty much will make you worm weedless. So that is called a Texas rig. So that's one way to rig a worm. This is what it looks like without the weight and everything. You just can rig it up, and that's what it looks like. So another way I like to rig the worms is pretty simple. It's a worm on a jig head. Now I call this particular lure here the baby eel, because it looks like an eel. It kind of looks like an eel, and a little small eel. And I've caught some nice bass off of this already using it in this area of lakes around here. Because I live in Central Florida, we have lakes everywhere around here. So I've used them in all different lakes and caught bass out of every one of them. So this is how you rig this. It's pretty simple. This jig here has what's called a bait keeper. This one is particularly just a triangular cone-shaped bait keeper, but you have them with the hooks on them and all little spikes or different types of hook keepers that you can have on there. But this one just happens to have a triangular cone-shaped one. And then what I do is I find the back side of my worm, whichever. See, this has got a flat spot right there, so that's the bottom side. So this is the top of the back of the worm, and then I turn the jig this way So it's facing, so they're facing back to back. Then I do just like on the other rig. I run it up to about the curve right there, and then I run it on up, and then let it run it around until it reaches this curve. When it reaches this curve, I get to the point where it starts going straight. Then I pull it out and run it on up. I run it like that. I got it, and I run it up and push it up over that keeper. Try to get it as straight as you possibly can. Well, that's not too bad. Ain't perfect, but it ain't too bad. So that's what it looks like right there. Sorry about that if I got in too close, but that's what it looks like. You can see it. Man, this is a very effective rig. I don't know why people haven't figured that one out yet, but I haven't seen anybody using it. But anyways, so the next rig we use is a typical jig head with a trailer. This one's got a curly tail trailer on it. I got the bronze freshwater hook. This is like a 3 or 4/0 hook. It's got the trailer on it, and this is very effective for when the fish are offshore, out schooling over some brush piles or something. You can cast this over there. This jig head here has a center balance head. You can drop it straight down and jig it up and down like this, straight up and down, or you can cast it and pull it horizontal, or you can troll it even. Just put it on there and troll it, it'll troll right along. This is a pretty effective jig head combination, which I've caught quite a few bass on. I mean, they work. I've caught them in the pit I've caught them in a place over here where everybody says there ain't no fish in it, but evidently they don't know how to fish them. But this here combination, and this combination, our combination around here that I like for around here, is the black head with the blue body. It's a June bug body like this one, with a black head. It'd be in this color combination, which this here is really good for freshwater or saltwater. It's the same jig head, just rigged on a paddle tail body, and it's that's all it is. So you take this head right here, and you put it right on there like that. Tie your line on there like you always do on the eye hook, and cast. You can cast these things pretty far. You put it on 620 Power Pro, and tie you a short leader in there, like 2-foot leader, and to your use a double uni knot, tie your leader to your main line. And I use a uni knot. I'm going to make a video on knots here pretty soon for tying the double uni knot, which I use almost exclusively, and I haven't had any problems with it. It don't come apart if you tie it properly. So it's one of my favorite knots, one I use just about all the time. So that's the jig. That's the jig heads. The jig heads work fine. I mean, these can I get these in a tinned version of the hook, and it like that one. Now, if we just take this, we just like we did on the other hook, we used you see the bend in the hook right there. So what I do is I usually try to match just how much bend I got. I put it up there to that first little curve, then I pop it out. Just turn it around. Make sure we come out the right way. So I put it there. Turn the belly side towards the hook. In there. Pull it through all the way up to the top. Just like that. And then twist the hook around and pull it through. So the hook eye buries itself down in the plastic. Like that. You can see. See how it's buried down in the plastic? Okay, then I take my hook. Look, see right there by that, right where the tail meets the body there. It's about right. And I I just run this on like a 45, 50 degree angle, run it through, come out the back side of it, like that. Then I take that point right here, the point of the hook, there's the point of the hook. Now I push the worm up, push the fluke up a little bit, and just bury the point of the hook in the plastic a little bit where it's not sticking out. And that'll make it weedless. See there? No snag at all. Then you just tie your line on there and then you got it. See? That's how to rig the fluke with a weightless hook. Now the weighted hooks, they're the same way. You rig them the same way. The only difference is they got a little piece of weight that's molded onto the hook, which gives you 1/8, quarter, 3/8, whatever you want on there. But another way to do the weighted jig is like this. This is pretty effective if you're out around oyster bars or little open water areas or around the bridges. But you could take, so you do, what you do is you do the same 1/4 inch deep and you put it in there, you put your hook in there, not necessarily 1/4 inch deep, but and this time I go back of the lure towards the back of the jig head and push it on. Try to keep it straight till it gets to that curve right there. Till it gets to this curve. When it gets to that curve, I try to push it up till it just starts getting on the straight edge, and then pop it through. And I just push it right on up, just like that. Then you got yourself a weighted fluke. I could have went a little bit deeper on that. Probably should show you that. If that happens, you just pull it off, pull your hook back through the plastic right there, and then go a little bit deeper, then pull it through. So there you go. See, now that's perfectly straight, pretty straight. Not perfect, but it's pretty straight. And this is what you come up with. See, a little jig head with fluke. These are very effective, man. This is good for bass, snook, redfish. A lot of different game fish will hit this. You know, generally use this out in open water. You can put a bigger one on there, like a 1/4 ounce if you want. But with this 5-inch mold here, I think 1/4 ounce about as heavy as you want to go. Unless you get a 7-inch one, you can go heavier. You can go if you get a 7-inch mold where you get 7-inch bait, you can go a little heavier with the jig head, you know. So it makes it nice. Okay, now another way I do this, and this is for freshwater or saltwater. I got this here beaver tail type bait, and I got a swivel head on here. This head swivels around, so I rig it up, you pull it back off, show you what I've got. So basically the same style worm hook. Excuse me. About a 1/4 inch there. So I'll usually go to that first segment and bring my hook out in that first segment right there. So there, see, like the hook, the first segment, bring it on around, pull it up through the eyelet, and see this has got a little metal clip right there. So what I do is I pull it up on that clip just like that, and then I do my hook. I watch where it goes, put it in there, bring the tip out the top like we did before, like that. Like that, there you go. And then do the same thing as I did before. I take and push the lure up some, put a little hump in it like that, and just bury the tip of it right in the plastic, and try to straighten it as straight as you can. This is pretty straight, you know, pretty straight. And then that's the rig, man. That's as good. That is a good lure right here. You can get, this is a 1/4 ounce head, but you can get 3/8, ½ ounce if you're fishing in deeper water. But for shallow flats and shallow water, like oyster bars and stuff, this 1/4 ounce head works pretty good. Doesn't bury down deep in the grass or the oyster bar. Just good for redfish, bass. Not sure if snook will hit them or not. I hadn't caught a snook on one of those. But here's the same plastic rig with a jig. I mean, there's nothing much different than it. Just put the jig in it just like I did the fluke. And you could use these around oyster bars, around bridges, or whatever you want to fish it. A pretty effective lure. Basically a jig. Basically all it is, a jig rig with soft plastic. Nothing special, but it'll get them. By the way, here at Country Boys Tackle Box, we manufacture all these products I'm showing you. And we've tested them, we've caught bass, got pictures of them, snook, just about everything. And this is one of my jewels that I designed. Saltwater spinner bag. Now mind you, this is a prototype, so it ain't quite been refined down to where I want it. But this gives you a good idea of what I got here. I got a Colorado blade on this one, but you could put a Colorado blade on it instead of this willow leaf, and works just fine. I have caught some trout on this, but I hadn't had a chance to get out and work on redfish with it yet. So as soon as I do, I'll give you some I'll make some more videos. But this is a 1/4 ounce jig head with 3/0 hook. Pretty tough hook. Stout wire. You're not going to bend that wire. That's like 51 thousandths wire, or 5100ths wire. It's the heaviest wire I could get for this stuff, and it's pretty heavy. But and bass will hit this too. I've actually caught some bass on it too. So I mean, I was designing it for saltwater, but bass hit it too. I didn't have much hard feelings about reeling that bass in, I can tell you that. But and this just shows you some different styles and designs we got here. Got this here I call the finger mullet jig head. That is it's just a carrot shaped type soft plastic. I think this is a cowl. That ain't one of mine. We don't have one of these styles. We can get them in the future, but the jig head is the key. It's got a nice strong hook. This is 1/4 ounce. There's probably a 4/0 hook in there. And this, excuse me. And this jig head got a good stout mustad round hook. Yeah, very good hook, very good jig head, and it can also be rigged this way. This is a 3/16 ounce with the paddle tail on it. This is a very effective redfish lure. I've caught a lot of redfish, snook too. Hadn't been fishing for bass with them too much. I've been using some of my other lures that I've been looking. This is heavier. This is the 5/16 head. So it shows you that this one I'd use around bridges and stuff because it's a bit heavier. So that's that jig. Here's my little small stingray tail jig, which is one of the old standbys. Been used for years by a lot of different fishermen, and it's still producing. I'll tie this on one of our popping corks with about a 2-foot leader, and pop it out there on them trout flats, and just wear the trout out, man. I tell you, yeah. Fishing with soft plastics is a good way to catch fish in freshwater and saltwater both. Just get out there and start casting, man. The more cast you make, the more fish you're going to catch. So that's all I've got to say. So I'm telling you goodbye from Country Boys Tackle Box. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. It always helps the algorithm. So thank you. Bye.